Let's try a thumbs up this time. If I sound okay and don't sound like a Dalek. Good, that's better. I like that. Okay, well, I hope everyone's all right. We've got a lovely cheese and wine night ahead of us tonight. The first thing I need you to do is convert your team name. So I know you all were given a number for your team, but we now like you to change it to a team name. So keep a note of the number, but let's have a team name instead, because we are going to give a prize for the best team name tonight. So in the chat box, we need you to tell us your team number and then the new name you're going to convert it to. So you could have a cheese or a wine pun, like something to do with plonk or whiff or sozzle. It could be a nod to your love and admiration for one of our panel tonight. So you might want to call your team Bob's Your Uncle, or the Blind Tasters, or maybe even Shuttlecocks. And it could be a lockdown quiz team name. I've seen a few like iCorona, Quarantinis, Completely Furloughed, all that kind of stuff. Give it a bit of thought, because if you end up in a tiebreaker tonight, your team name could be useful. That's all I'll say for now. So for the minute, you just need to be muted and have your video set into speaker view. Probably best to keep it for that as long as you can tonight. We'll let you know if it needs changing. But to try and keep some order tonight, that's the best way to do it. I don't know how long that order is going to stay. If you've ever been to a cheese and wine night before, normally by about 7:20, it's all gone out the window. So we're doing all right so far. One more thing to check. Can I just have hands up from everyone who has opened their red wine to let it breathe? Oh my Lord. I don't know what sort of operation you think this is, but that's far too professional. So points off for that. What on earth do you think we're doing here? It is one of those where we're kind of getting to the end of all the virtual events. So we would like to kind of go out on a little bit of a bang whilst mass gatherings are still not allowed. Maybe later in the year, but for the moment, you know, we're starting to head the way out. So let's make this a good one. And of course, we couldn't be doing this tonight without the guys at Haywood Wright Accountancy Group. So thank you very much to those guys. So how does this all work? I'm going to try and explain it for those of you who've never played before. Although bear in mind, this is someone who took 2 years to get their head around reverse bingo, so bear with me. Obviously, you keep a note of your team number. That's how we'll take your scores tonight. There are 4 wines to get through, which is probably standard for most of us on a Thursday night during lockdown now. Sorry, I'm back. So 4 wines, 2 cheeses, and we've got a pork pie to come later on as well. Our panel are going to talk to you about each cheese or wine. They'll tell you what cheese or wine, and all you need to do is work out which one of them is telling the truth. And that's where the call my bluff element comes in. So when you've decided whether it's A, B, or C, then select Neil Betteridge as the person to send that answer to, put your team number and your guess. And we'll do that for each one. We'll reveal the answers to who's won our little hamper of mixed wines. Okay. Speaking to us shortly, before getting stuck in with the rest, is Alistair from our sponsor, Haywood Wright. Evening, Alistair. How you doing?
Really good, Rich. How are you, mate?
Not bad, not bad. What's your track record like at this kind of thing?
I'm very good at drinking the wine. Whether on the guessing might be a little bit challenging.
That's all right.
Not me tonight.
I was going to say, I've got the boss with me, so it'll be fine.
And the dog.
Okay, boss and the dog in. You're fine. You're the hot favourites already. Let's get on to introducing you to our panel. Our first special celebrity guest is someone who recently joined us on one of our Staying Connected virtual business lunches to talk about her career at the very top of the sport of badminton, something she's won Olympic and World Championship medals at. Never at one point in that chat mentioned her love for cheese or wine, which is why we stuck her straight down on the panel tonight. Here is Gail Ems. Hello, Gail. Unmute yourself. There you are.
There we are. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. I can confirm I do love cheese and I do love wine, so I am perfectly acceptable to be a panelist on this lovely show tonight.
Dancer, you can stay. Thank you for joining us, Gail. Good to have you along. And who better to join you on the panel for a cheese and wine night than a man more than a pint of bitter and a bag of pork scratchings. Fundraising hero and all-round sporting inspiration, Blind Dave Healy. Hello, Dave.
Good evening, young man, and good evening, everybody. And if there's any bets going, I can tell you now, Hursty, I'll be the first one that's blind drunk.
Good. And good work on getting hold of the prescription sunglasses as well. They look gorgeous, mate.
Summer holiday job, summer holiday.
Oh, okay, that's all right. And I just want to check your palate's all right, because I expect you've been celebrating West Brom winning promotion to the Premier League last week.
Me what? Palate. I had no painting today.
To normal already. That's fine. Okay. Dave, thank you for being with us. We'll hear from you in a little bit. And,
pleasure, mate.
One more question. One more juice to you. Fine. Be saying, you know very well, simply by sitting down on your sofa and use the stalwart of Central TV and cheese and wine connoisseur, because you can see from his background, Bob Warman, sir.
Stuff, yes. Yes, hello, Hursty. Hello, everybody. Yes, absolutely delighted to join you once again, even though it's over Zoom. And you're quite right, bit of a connoisseur. As you can see, I've had to take to the cool of my cellar tonight because it's so damn hot outside. But it's glorious in here. It's temperature gauged perfectly. And I'm really looking forward to it. We've got some really fine wines to present. Some which are spectacularly fine and rare wines, and I'm looking forward to you all getting the nose in and having a crack at it.
Good. Well, that's all we can ask. If all we get of you is your nose, then I think we've all been very privileged. So thank you, sir. Right, before we get going, I do want to hand over just for a few words for the sponsors, because without him we wouldn't be on tonight. So just a quick couple of minutes, if you would, please. Alistair Hayward, right.
Cheers, Thursday. Yeah, really good to be supporting this event again. First, I'll confess, it's the first one of these I've actually managed to attend, but I've heard the legendary stories in the past, so really looking forward to this. Massive thank you to Neil for organising this, and I'm really pleased to be supporting the Wooden Spoon. Wooden Spoon are a charity we've supported in the past, and it's great to supporting those guys. The work they do is fantastic. So hope everyone enjoys it. I hope we can do this in person again soon as well. And for a good night.
Definitely. And the dog's hanging around for some scraps of cheese and biscuits, I'm guessing.
I think
loves a bit of wine.
He's a little bit of a wine connoisseur himself as well, so he will be answering some questions.
Good. Okay, well, that's an extra team. Well, if he hasn't got a nose for it, I'll be worried. Good work. Okay, Alistair, thanks so much.
Cheers, Alistair.
For being with us tonight. And as Alistair mentioned, Wooden Spoon is who we're supporting tonight. So simply by purchasing your supporter packs, you've already enabled us tonight. There is an auction later to help raise a few more funds, and to tell us just how they'll help, I'll hand over to Vince Hopkins.
Right, cheers, thanks, Hursty, and good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you to Neil and Amros, and thank you to Alistair and Sam and the dog. Great supporters of Wooden Spoon over quite a period now, and without their help, we wouldn't be able to do some of the things we do. Wooden Spoon, it's known as the Children's Charity of Rugby, and just a little bit of history for people. It started in the early 1980s. It's raised about 28 million so far. It actually builds things, doesn't just give money away, it builds projects for school disadvantaged kids. And that originally was sort of physical and mental disadvantages. Now we're getting into social deprivation. So all the money comes in, we look after the kids. So we built over 1,000 projects so far, and that's probably held about 1.2, 1.3 million kids up and down the country and in Ireland as well. Now, just with Wooden Spoon, it's divided around county lines. So there'll be a Dorset Wooden Spoon, and there'll be a Warwickshire Wooden Spoon, which isn't particularly good, but there you go. And then there's a Worcestershire Wooden Spoon, which is obviously by definition the best one in the country. And all the money that we raise in Worcestershire actually stops in Worcestershire. So all the money that comes out from events like this goes into the schools and into the projects in Worcestershire, which is great. Over the years in Worcestershire, we've raised about 300,000. Last year, because of the great sort of support, donations, the events, we raised £30,000. Now that 30,000 last year enabled us to do 2 projects, so we could do 2 schools. So we've got a sensory room going into Dines Green Academy in Worcester, and then we've also got a racetrack outside going to a school in Starport, St Bartholomew's. Now, because of COVID and lockdown, we actually haven't got the building done, We've got the plans, the money. Hopefully we'll have them finished by about October, November time. And the plan is, as soon as we can show everybody, our supporters, our sponsors, our members, about these projects, we'll let you see what they are, but they make a hell of a difference to those schools. So thank you for last year. One thing that happened this year was that for Wooden Spoon, the Sunday and Daily Telegraph chose Wooden Spoon as their charity of choice over Christmas, and they raised a lot of money. But because of lockdown and couldn't build projects, they decided instead of sitting with the money in the bank, they'd give it out to the region. So we picked up £5,000. And again, we sat around as a committee. We've got Guy from Modus who's on the committee. It's chaired by John Gibson. Instead of sticking it and waiting for a project, we thought charities need it now. So we actually gave that £5,000. We found 5 very small local charities looking after, children's charities. And we gave them £1,000 each because they needed money probably more than we did at the time. So again, it's another thing about helping other charities as well. So that's a bit about Wooden Spoon. Just for us, for those of you who come to our event, we do a lot. We do the first Thursday event, or we did. We hope to be back there as well. Lots of events through the years. Because of all the sponsors, because of all the people who help support us, we do raise a decent bit of money, and we do spend it within the county. So thank you for everybody. Thank you for Neil and the great support of Amros. Thank you for Alistair for his continued support. And I hope everyone has a very good evening this evening. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Vince. When we try wine, are you just going to reach over your shoulder there and grab it like that? Is that how it's going to work? Or are those bottles going to miraculously stay there all evening?
I've got to fight. You met Trace, haven't you? I ain't got a hope.
Thank you very much, Vince. So thank you very much for sending your team names in. I'm just looking at the chat at the minute. I can see a few tidy ones coming in. Team 11 want to be known as Pogue Mahone. Team 5, Teresa's Tasters. Team 29, the Betteridge. We know exactly who that is. Hello, Ross. On Zoom Street for me and Stringer, that may be my favourite so far. Although I like Team 19, it's all Zoom and Gloom. Team 16, the Worcester Swingers. Team 12, the Boozer Basils. Hello to you. Thank you very much for all getting your team names in. If you haven't done that yet, remember, include your team number. Let us know what your new team name is, but keep that number handy for the scores later. Right. I think we're ready to go. So in this first half, we're going to try 2 wines and 1 cheese. Excuse me. Then we'll take a break while we have our first live auction. If you do want to take part in the auction tonight, obviously we'll ask you to unmute and then bid by saying the cleverly thought up phrase, very unique to this experience, bid. More on that later on, but I must say cricket fans will be very interested. We haven't seen in the programme yet our lots tonight. Get a look at those. We sent the programme out last week. Cricket fans will be particularly interested in that. After the auction, it'll be back to the game. 2 more wines and another cheese. And after that, whichever member of the team is still sober-ish will attempt to take your answers and scores and work out who's won, if by then you're bothered who's won. But without further ado, I think we're ready to proceed. Wine number 1. So I'm going to ask everybody if they would please get themselves wine number 1. Pour yourself a glass if you haven't done that already. Depending on the size of your supporter pack, will depend on how much wine you have. But get your wine out first. Remember, mute unless you're one of the panel. That's always funny. Otherwise, we're going to hear all sorts of goings on. And I'm going to go to the panel to each describe wine number 1, and you'll just have to work out whether they're telling the truth or not. So, wine number 1. First, you, Bob. What wine number 1 is, please?
Okay, well, this is quite a straightforward wine, really. For a start, of course, it's white. On the face of it, this is an unoaked, dry, from Australia. All that sort of appley, citrus fruit, and it has the full flavour, which is typical of an Australian wine. But it has a fine finish and a complex one. And I'm getting notes of a wet pavement in Broad Street on a Friday night. Yeah. Which gives it a very, very complex finish. Make of it what you will.
I think.
But on the face of it,
I know what you mean about the broad. Yeah, I think I know what you mean about the. Okay, very nice. Let's see though. Is that the real description? Or is it what Gail's got for us? Gail, tell us about this wine.
Well, obviously, I'm going to be telling the truth here. Do not listen to anything else other than me. I am the only one who's going to be talking the right stuff. So, wine number one. It's a slightly spicy white wine, and I'm not Australian. I'm Italian, thank you very much. And I've got a hint of tropical fruit. My vine's grown in chalky soil, which allows excellent drainage. I'm a great aperitif wine, and which also accompanies seafood and poultry in delicate sauces. So if you think that is right, which it is, put down B, please, for number one.
It just sounds exactly like she knows what she's talking about. It must be her, surely.
Oh.
Or is it Blind A. Peely? What do you think this wine is, please, Dave?
Well, Kirsty, as per normal, I listened to the claptrap from Bob, and Gail is obviously in the same learn of schooling from Bob. So between the two of them, they're talking utter rubbish. Now, on a recent trip to San Francisco, I was introduced to a wine of sorts. I was in the sea at the time, and it was sea lions that introduced me to the wine. However, the wine that I am particularly interested in this evening is a white, obviously, from the Napa Valley in San Francisco, California. The Napa Valley, by the way, has a little bit of history, that the local Indian residents so aptly named it the Napa Valley, which means the Happy Valley. Now, it is a wine. It is a blend of two wines. And let me just refer to my little notes here. It's a blend of two wines, and it had notes of a lot of wood and ripe fruit. Now, as you can appreciate, it comes in a bottle with a screw top, and you are very happy after it, as the Indians say.
Yeah. Food for thought there, or wine for thought there. Thank you very much, Dave. So you've got to now decide, teams. You think Bob was describing the wine correctly? Was Gail describing the wine correctly? Or was Dave so expertly describing the wine correctly? A for Bob, B for Gail, C for Dave. Simply to Neil Betteridge on your chat function. Make sure you're sending the message to Neil. I mean, you can send it to everyone if you want, but we'll get your answer. So send it to Neil Betteridge, please. Simply your team number, followed by your guess. A, B, or C. Gail's on the palate cleanser of San Miguel.
Beer. No, it's
Beer.
of course like I would have gone for like Peroni, but that's all I had in the fridge, so sorry.
And how many glasses of wine before you start kicking around the football in the goal behind you?
I'm actually on my own tonight, so if I have my kids around, then odds. But you know what? I don't want to show up the neighbours and all that, you know. So yeah, I just might just chill.
Keep it up. Okay, all right. So everybody get your answers in. You may still be debating and what you think the correct one is, but for goodness sake, get an answer down. We've got more wine to drink. Let's get on, though, for a little break for some cheese. Now, there were some warnings that I forgot to give out earlier. Cheese number one is not suitable for anyone with gluten allergy suffering. And I should also warn you that the wine contains alcohol.
Oh, no way.
I know. But generally, the cheese is not suitable for anyone with gluten allergen. So someone around your table, someone else gets a go at that one. So this is cheese number one we're trying now. So hopefully, Bob, yeah, Bob's already on it. He's getting it down already. Good to see. When you finish munching, Bob, would you tell us exactly what this cheese is?
It's a delight, isn't it? It's an absolute delight, this cheese, and it goes so well with the wine. It's a mature cheese, and it's got a little bit of apple, which has been steeped in scrumpy cider. Now that, of course, is very much a local cheese. Comes from deepest Herefordshire, and you can taste that, can't you? You can taste the Herefordshire countryside in that cheese. It's wonderful. And what are you laughing at?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Could we have a bit of decorum in the panel, please? And there's something spotty in it, which I'm not quite sure what it is, to be honest. But what I can tell you is that the base of it is actually cider. And it's a good cider cheese, scrumpy cider, wonderful. And as I say, a mature cheese. And it's local. And I commend it to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sounds kind of half right, but I've got a feeling someone else might argue with that sentiment, namely Gail. Gail, what's the cheese?
Well, obviously, everyone knows what the Herefordshire countryside tastes like. I mean, everyone goes around just chomping away at trees and grass. So, I mean, come on, what a way to describe cheese.
Cheeky.
I mean, if you want to be like that, then just, if you want to go all metaphorical and all like that, then go and vote for Bob. But you know what? I'm going to keep it really, really simple about this cheese, because it is. It's just basically stunning. That's all you need to know. A stunning cheddar. And it has got apple. I will agree with you with that, Bob. There is apple in there. But I'm also going to say that it's got blackberries in there, and it has got cranberries. And that's why it tastes so good. And you know that it's number B, letter B even. Yep.
Interesting. And before things get too heated, we have one more view on this cheese to come in. And from obviously a man whose sense of taste is second to none, simply through the amount of Bathams that goes down there. So if you would please tell us about the cheese, Blind Dave.
Well, Bathams is quite a delight, as you can appreciate. But I'm going to be simple and to the point. This is obviously a local cheese, a very, very local cheese. A delight on a Sunday dinner time with a couple of pints of Batham. It's a mature cheddar combined with the said ale with a tinge of mustard. Just the thing for a Sunday lunchtime drink and
Happy, Dave. Happy with that. I think you summed things up very well. I wasn't sure if you'd stopped mid-sentence, you were mid-thought, and you were about to add some more elements to the cheese, but I think you're done.
yes, indeed.
Can I just add something, please?
No. If you must.
Can I just add something that all those taking part in this mustn't be thrown by the addition of mustard seeds in this. The mustard seeds were a bit of an afterthought when they were making this cheese with apple steeped in scrumpy cider, and they thought, well, we'll chuck in a few mustard seeds at the end just to confuse everybody. I just thought I'd make a note of that.
You know what, Bob, I might agree with you on there, because, obviously you find mustard seeds along in the Hereford countryside. You just see them scattered around everywhere. So that's probably why they just use that to throw us a little bit.
I'm glad you agree with me, Gail, because that makes two.
I do agree.
That's two against one.
I have to say here, Gail, I don't know about the mustard seeds on the Hereford countryside. I think Bob's been having mushroom seeds.
Yeah.
That would make
Happy
this
Valley
evening a
is
lot
in
of
California.
fun.
I was a bit worried, Gail. I know this is your first cheese and wine. I was a bit worried about how you might compete with the panel, but then I remember you've been on Fighting Talk.
Yeah, don't worry about me in competition. Don't worry about that. If there's competition, I'm there.
I feel outclassed already.
So we've had three descriptions of the cheese. You now have to decide in your teams which of our panelists is telling the truth. So remember, send your answers to Neil Betteridge. Don't put them on the Everyone chat. Put them on Neil Betteridge's chat individually to him. He hasn't had any individual DMs for a while, so this is a nice feeling. Slide into his DMs if you would. There you go. So you need to put your team number and the letter of the person you think. So of course, if it's Bob, it's A, it's Gail, it's B, and if it's Dave, it's C. So send those to Neil. I mean, you can carry on putting them in the entire group chat if you wish. It's nice to see your answers, but I'd ping them over to Neil for the chance of winning whatever it is we have tonight. Wine. More wine. Okay, shall we get on to another wine?
Oh,
Not yet,
rather.
hang on.
Fresh glass.
Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves. You've got to be careful because the electric's down here. Right, ready. Not that it's really important that whether I'm ready or not, because I can't even win tonight. So anyway, let's get on to wine number 2. So if you would please get yourselves a sample of wine number 2, please, so you can get your laughing gear around that, and then we'll see what our panel have to say about our first little red number of the evening. So Bob, down there in the deepest dungeon, sorry, cellar. Tell us about wine number 2, please, Bob.
Do you want? Is it my turn?
Yes, please, go on.
It's my turn, right? Okay. Let me say that this wine has a bit of a surprise in it, really. Such a surprise that I can't remember what it is. Stop it now, Gail. No, this is an interesting wine. It's late bottled. In fact, I think it was bottled at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So it doesn't require uncorking and all that sort of, letting it breathe and all that sort of nonsense. It's a straightforward Rioja from Spain, which we're not allowed to go to now because you've got to spend all this time back home quarantining. But you could quarantine on this. Actually, you bring a case of this back and you wouldn't be disappointed. It's a good Rioja. Fruity, actually, yes, an interesting Rioja, actually. It's one that I haven't come across before. It's a very interesting Rioja. and if you bring a case of this back from Spain, you can spend a couple of weeks in lockdown enjoying it.
Rafa, shush. Rafa.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well done, Bob. I mean, great description. Sorry.
No, it's,
what have you?
It's very interesting.
Oh, right. Well, so Bob, that was brilliant. That actually has just made my evening. It's not a Rioja, as we all know, because Bob couldn't even hide like his disgust at saying the word Rioja and drinking that wine. Now, I actually can't drink this wine because for me, I hate, and I really, really hate, and I mean this, licorice. Now, if you can smell that licorice, if you can taste that licorice, it's because I can't even go near the licorice, because that is what is in this wine. It's a Sicilian wine. It's a Sicilian wine with rich, juicy flavors, plums, black cherries, interlaced with that sweet spice, and of course that evil to me licorice. So if you think that is what it is, which you know it is, it's B.
Hey, licorice B. People, I can see you. Bob seems to have. Okay, I'll let Bob go down. He's gone down to the lower cellar. He's down there. Hopefully, you get him back. Blind Dave, what do you think about wine number 2, please?
Yes. Well, we had a slight interlude with the Wi-Fi this end, I believe. All I know is that Bob and Gail have a red wine, which obviously is a similar colour to the one I must have in this here bottle here. Am I still heard?
Yeah, you good.
because I'm in.
Yep.
I'm
We've got
out,
you, mate.
I'm
Carry
in.
on.
This wine is like the okie dokie at the moment. The Wi-Fi's on and the Wi-Fi's off. But this is an easy drinking red wine from the valleys of Chile. And I find it very easy to drink, actually. You just simply take the top off, pour it in the glass, and it goes down. Not quite as sweet as Batham's, but very similar. So this Chilean wine is an easy drinking red wine.
Bear with me, he's listening to his notes.
And it's with cherry and raspberry flavours to the fore. So as you can appreciate, easy drinking. It's probably also good for vegetarians because it's full of all sorts of cherries.
I love the effort you put in every week, Dave. The notes and revision you do, because I know that you obviously try the wines 2 or 3 weeks in advance of this and put your notes and thoughts together. So when it comes to the night, you're fully prepared to dish out your wisdom. It's brilliant. I can't fault it. I really can't.
I really appreciate that, Rich. You know, it's the batches are going in my tape. The Wi-Fi is going in front of me on the screen. I'm doing very, very well so far tonight. Bring back normality, please.
Soon.
Can I just mention, Gail, you were talking about, you're rather dismissive of licorice. You don't like licorice, do you? And yet I was only reading in the Daily Mail today that it's one of those aromas that arouses people. And along with cinnamon, vanilla, anise, and as I say, it's in the Daily Mail here. I've got it here, and licorice. So I wouldn't dismiss.
Well, it's a good job I like. It's a good job I like cinnamon and vanilla, then, Bob, isn't it? Because seriously, I can't go near licorice. It's just the wrong thing ever. So you know what? There's other things that will do it for me. Don't worry, Bob.
I say.
Well, I'm going to step in here. It's probably a good idea that I'm stepping at this point. Probably.
I knew we'd turn it away from wine. It didn't take long.
I was going to say, Bob, it is a cheese
Smells,
and wine
aromas.
Let's get it back to rock and roll.
I said 7:20. It's taken to 8:25. So 15 minutes longer this year. That's what lockdown does. Okay. So you've heard 3 descriptions of wine number 2, and you now please have to just send us your answers. Remember, send them directly to Neil Betteridge if you're still playing along, with your team number and your guess. Don't need to worry about your team name, just your team number and your guess, and he can frantically check up and down his little Excel sheet that I know he's got running at home, or probably pen and paper, I expect, actually, and you can add up your scores and see how you're doing, because goodness me, time flies when you're having fun. We've already reached the halfway mark. There's no drinks break like we have in the new style Premier League at the minute. It's straight to a half-time break. Enough drinks already, I think, from what we can tell, especially you, Bob. So, in the meantime, I'm going to attempt to start our first live auction.
Great.
So, as you know, we're raising for the Wooden Spoon charity, and we have something very special in this first lot for cricket fans, or the cricket fan you know in your life. Obviously, cricket in theory is back tomorrow. I think just in time with the back on the Saturday, just in time with the weather turning. I think it wouldn't be cricket without a bit of rain on the first day of the season. So our first prize, especially for any Worcestershire fans out there, is the signed shirt you would have seen in the programme. Signed shirt by Worcestershire legend Graham Hick, one of England and Worcestershire's greatest ever players with the bat. He is one of only 25 players to have scored 100 hundreds in first-class cricket. Spent over 20 years at New Road. Obviously, the stand is named after him. He has such legendary status, and we have now this shirt to give away tonight on our auction, should you be willing to part with a bit of cash for the brilliant Wooden Spoon. So, if you would like to take part in the auction, it's obviously a good idea first off to unmute yourself, or we'll unmute you and keep yourself there. And obviously the idea is that you say the word bid as I go through the amounts. So I'm going to just get myself onto gallery view here and keep an ear out. Now I'll go on to speaker view. Speaker view is better because that means the minute you make a noise, even if it's not the word bid, the screen will change to you and I'll have to attribute a bid to you. So if you don't plan on bidding, keep yourself quiet. I'm now looking around the screen to see that hardly anyone has unmuted themselves. So this could be a very quick auction. Let's see how we get on. So we have the Graham Hicks signed shirt and our first auction tonight, trying to raise as much as we can for Wooden Spoon this evening. I'm going to attempt to start the bidding and say the word bid if you're interested, please, at a mere £100.
Bid.
There is Guy. Guy Martin straight away. Evening. Thank you for joining us from the Caribbean. There's a bid there straight away. Thank you very much. I'll see how much more we can get. Let's see if we can take a 110. Anyone want to say bid? Otherwise, it's Guy's. 110.
Bid.
Ah, there we go. To Moan and Wine. Is that how I have as your team name, Moan and Wine? Lovely. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're there at 110. If you want to take me to 120, then say the word bid now.
Bid.
Oh. Who is that? Say bid again, please. I want to change the screen. Say bid.
Bid.
Ah, okay, we're back with Alistair and the Hayward rights. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're at, what did I say we're at? Thank you, 110, and we went up to 120. Thank you. 120 with you at the minute. Sorry, no more wine. If someone wants to take me to 130, say bid now. Otherwise, it's going to the Hayward Wright household.
Bid.
Back again to Moan and Wine, 130. Let's speed it up a little bit. 140, anyone want to take me to 140? Say bid now, please.
Bid.
Back with Alistair. Okay, 150. Let's see if we can keep going. Say bid now if you want to go to 150.
Bid.
Back with Guy. 160. Anyone?
Bid.
Back to Ali. I think that was that you, Ali?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, there's Ali back with 160 at the minute. Anyone want to take me to 170? Say bid. Okay. Believe me, as a radio presenter, deafening silence is the thing that makes your insides cringe and turn up horribly. So I'm not going to leave it lingering too much longer. I have it with you at 160 at the minute. I'm going to make it once, unless anybody wants to say bid for 170. It's a 160 with Alistair at the minute. One more time. Anyone say bid now for 170? Lovely. Bit of silence. Alistair, thank you very much. 160. Sold to you. There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you for your bidding, sir. Good work. Right. Whew. Well, I'm much more relieved now that that's out of the way, because that was the thing I was most nervous about. As long as everyone's back and forth. Actually, no, do you know what? If you haven't had it yet, it's time to tuck into your pork pie.
Excellent.
Now, this isn't just any old pork pie. This is an award-winning Harry Scrivens pork pie. So this is kind of like a pie / pea break. Should you wish to take a couple of minutes for one or both, just don't get them confused. Do that now. Oh, we can do that now, because I really want a bit of a pie. I'll probably get told off now and say crack on with the game, but there are a few teams who haven't sent in their answers yet, apparently. So if you haven't yet sent your answers to Neil Betteridge on the chat function, then please do. Just remember, you only need your number and then your answers from wine 1, cheese 1, and wine 2. Sorry, yes, and whilst I'm here. And remember, whilst you're there, take a picture of your pie and stick it on social media. I don't know if Harry Scrivens is on social media, but I know Amros Golfar and a few other of us here tonight. Wooden Spoon, obviously, as well. You could tag them and show them the wonderful pork pie you're enjoying as part of tonight's Cheese and Wine evening. We haven't quite made the decision on the best team name yet either. That's still up for debate, I know. Bob, how are you finding your pie?
Well, it's excellent, but it's quite interesting. I've got the gallery view of everybody here, and I see that one or two people have nipped off for a pea.
Yep.
Quite a few of them, actually. Well, they've nipped off for a beer or something. No, the pie is excellent, but unsurprisingly, you know, the Scriven's pie is something to be cherished, isn't it? It's really wonderful. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, he's back. Ian's back. Hello, Ian.
Gail?
Good to see you again.
Gail, have you had your pie yet? No? Where's Gail gone?
Gail's nipped off as well.
No,
Gail's
I'm
nipped
here.
off.
I'm here. No, I'm here.
Have you had your pie yet, Gail?
I have had a little bit. I'm on a bit of a strict diet at the moment, and unfortunately, pork pies are not quite in that diet. But I have had a little taste of it, and it is amazing.
Okay, so not quite in. Neil's in the same boat, I think, at the minute. You'll find Neil Becker's
Yeah,
also be
it's the keto diet. So it is that high protein, high fat diet. So yeah, there is a little bit, you know, that's why I've had been able to have a little taste of it, and it is amazing. But I've actually got a party tomorrow, and I'm actually going to take it to there because they've seen. I did put a little sort of social media post, and a few of my friends were like, "You've got to bring that pie to the party." So I do feel like I need to share the pie. I can't possibly eat that all by myself.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what Harry Scrivens would pay to have his pie on your Instagram.
Well, if he wants to pay, I'm available. You know, we can work out a relationship here. That's not a problem.
If you've not seen Gail's Instagram, there's not. Well, I was going to say there's not much meat on it, but I've got to be careful what I say there. No, there definitely aren't any pork. There definitely aren't any pork pies on it.
No pork pies yet. That's the thing. Okay. Exactly.
All right. Dave, I suppose I don't need to ask you too much about pork pies. I mean, you're a man of the people. Scratchings, beer, and pies. You know, when you're not training for an incredible run of some sort, or run, bike, and anything else, pork pies part of the staple, aren't they?
Sorry, Rich, was that for me?
Yes, it was.
It's all right.
Pay attention, Dave.
This Wi-Fi is not the best, to be fair. But yes, I'm on a bit of a seafood diet. I can't see it, but I'll still eat it. But I am partial to a little bit of pork pie. But the pork pie will not find its way onto the desk at the moment because there's an awful lot of stuff on this here desk. And so I'm going, oh, my hand has just been put onto a slice of pork pie. So yes, I shall endeavour to try a little bit of pimento with one of the chicken eggs.
Dave, I've got a question for you.
Don't be too difficult.
Okay. What time is it? When there's a pork pie balancing on the top of the clock at Bilston Town Hall?
Let me think. Somewhat to 8.
Yeah, you've heard it before.
That wasn't even rehearsed, was it?
Hey, I love it, Bob. I love it. I set the clock by your programme every night. I'll wait for you to get off so I can go to bed.
I'll send a nurse round.
I'm still seeing just a bit of housekeeping. I'm still seeing a few answers in the chat, but hopefully Neil's getting some of these or most of these as well. There's a very good point here from Teresa Hoyle. Actually, she says, "Can't we just do the next event be a pie tasting evening?" I don't think anybody would complain there, would they?
No.
Gail, you might struggle.
I can take little samples, little tiny samples, and as long as I do a really big workout before, I'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I can make
Whatever
sandwiches.
you leave,
Wait, if they're gonna pay me, then you know, hey, that's all right.
Well, yeah. I think it's a new phrase for 2020. We all know that pies pay.
Pies pay.
Pies pay. Don't worry about it. Okay. Obviously, I do have to appreciate there are a couple of vegetarians amongst our group tonight. We did mention that about the pies and the cheese earlier. I'll keep you bang up to date with anything else that has certain dietary requirements. But apart from drinking and eating, I don't think there's much more to say. Okay, so look, we're at various states now, but I'm going to attempt to get a bit of order back in here and crack on. So can I ask everybody, whatever stage of eating you're at, we go back to the wine with wine number 3. I've just realised
Wine number 3.
wine number 3. Sorry, I know it's a bit of a chore now, isn't it? We're all settled down quite nicely there to a bit of cheese,
glasses,
and
plates, everything everywhere.
But we're going to attempt wine number 3. Bob, can I come to you first?
Oh, if you must, I just want to sample and remind myself about wine number 3. Oh, well, it's a blush, isn't it? It's a blush. It's not a fully blown rosé, it's a blush. And I can tell you straight away, this one is from Sicily. Now, Gail, stop it now. This one, yeah, it's got all that sort of lovely fruit flavors, a crisp, delicate finish, yes, on the nose. Let's just. Oh yes, most definitely, unequivocally from Sicily.
Which one again?
Unequivocally, and I can still say that, unequivocally from Sicily. This is a fine, it's a nice little pink blush, a Pinot blush, the Pinot grape, a Pinot blush from Italy. And it's lovely. It's very nice, in fact. And it's got a good finish to it, because I think I'm probably going to finish the lot. I really like that very much, actually. Yeah, very good. I can recommend this one.
Good to know, Bob. It's good to know. We'll get unequivocally on the.
I knew unequivocally.
Auto cue next time. Gail, can you give us something good or equally longer than unequivocally in your description?
Unequivocally, I'm not going to drink. I'm not a fan of rosé wine, but my mum is, and I have my mum taste it, and she absolutely loved it. Now, it's not from Sicily, so don't even think about it. The best medium to sweet rosé wines, which this is, are from California, and this is a Californian wine. And basically the fruits that you're going to get are strawberries and raspberries. That is what is in there. It's really abundant with those fruits in there. Californian rosé. My mum says that. My mum's an expert on rosé wine, so that you can't actually disagree with my mum. There you go.
Yeah, you can't disagree there. I certainly wouldn't.
No, I don't ever. Never have done.
Hell will rain down on anyone who does. And on that note,
Exactly.
Dave, what's your description?
Many apologies. Bob.
Yes, my friend.
What the hell does unequivocally mean?
Well, don't try and spell it.
I have trouble saying.
It means, what I'm saying is that it's without doubt. There's no question about it. This wine is from Sicily.
Well, I noted some at last. I know we won't go there. I'm now on a rosé.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah. I'm presuming it's pink like yours.
Yep.
It might look like a rose. I don't know. It's still coming in the bottle with a screw top. Unequivocally. What the hell? How'd you get your teeth around that, Bob?
I beg your pardon? It's sorry, you're frozen, Dave.
How'd you get your teeth around? Not the pork pie.
Frozen.
Well,
I'm frozen.
because I'm a Warsaw lad, and we're very educated in Warsaw, as you know.
Hello? I'm frozen, Bob. I'm obviously in Disneyland at the moment.
You're frozen, yeah.
Freezing. Yeah.
You're frozen in admiration for my vocabulary, I know.
I tell you what, we're going to have words over a point of item.
We certainly have that any time.
Yeah, well, you see, this particular rosé, I do believe, is from the Spanish Isles. Now, so saying that, I don't really want to move too much onto the history of it, its origins.
No.
In fact, I want to speak very, very little of Spain at the moment, because as you mentioned earlier, there could be a little bit of self-isolation involved with anything Spanish. So I don't want Boris knocking the door. So I'm just going to get on with what's in this here bottle. And Mark Tape said, you know what? Technology is not. I'm better at running and cycling, Bob, because technology is not my forte. I can assure you of that. I have 3 buttons on this tape recorder talking to me, and out of the 3, why did I press the wrong 2? Here we go.
Go on. Hurry up, Dave. I'm into my pork pie.
Beautiful colour of a salmon. And it has a pleasant and beautiful notes of rare fruits, citrus and peach. Now you'll have to excuse me because I've got people laughing in my one ear, I've got a tape recorder talking in my other ear, and I'm getting all confused with your words. But that is exactly what it is. It's a rosé from Spain in a bottle. It's beautiful.
Dave, can I ask you something? Did you drink the whole bottle to come up with that description?
Well, I was trying to find the label.
Right, okay.
But I ain't found it yet. I'm still searching.
Well, I think we should have enough to go on. Gail,
You sure? You sure?
Well, if there's one C down, it'll be right.
Gail's gained an extra team member there with a dog just interested now. I can see that'd be that pork pie.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, he likes licorice, I can tell.
Right, some order, please. So we are on wine number 3, and you again have to decide who is, I was going to say who's telling the truth, or who's talking the least amount of you know what. That's probably the easiest way to put it. So send your answers to Neil Bettridge once more with your team number and your letter. A for Bob, B for Gail, and C for Dave. And whilst you have a little think about that, sup up the rest of your rosé wherever you think it's actually come from. We're going to move on to another cheese. Now this is cheese number 2. Now I have to state here that cheese number 2 is not suitable for anyone with a gluten allergen, and this may give something away, I don't know, but cheese number 2 is also not suitable for vegetarians. Which I think just means that when Neil was delivering it, he let it brush up against the pork pies, but it might not be that. It could be a genuine thing. So we'll stick with the genuine thing. So this is cheese number 2, wherever that's gone. Have we got cheese number 2 there? So get yourself a slab of cheese number 2. Get it on your palate. Maybe try and if you need to wash away the rosé, then do that.
Hold on.
You'll notice it's certainly darker than the last one, but I'm not going to go too much into description because that's not my job here tonight. My job is literally to try and keep some order here. But cheese number 2. Bob, have you had a bit? Can you tell us what it is exactly?
Yes. I can tell you. I love cheese. And I don't want to boast about it, but I'm a bit of a cheese connoisseur. I'm sorry, Gail.
Sorry, you make me laugh.
If you could just contain yourself just for a moment, please. I say I'm a bit of a cheese connoisseur, and this one actually is a cheddar. It's a cheddar, and I love cheddar cheese, but it's been completely buggered up by some crunchy onion and sage, which some maniac has injected into it. It was a perfectly good cheddar until it was messed up with this onion and sage. which has left a rather nasty taste in my mouth. But there you are. That's what it is. It is a creamy cheddar with crunchy onion and sage. And if you taste it, it is absolutely obvious. It can be nothing else. So over to you, Gail, because frankly, I'm interested to see what you think about this cheddar. Dear, oh dear, it's ghastly.
Well,
Gail, have you been messing with Bob's cheese?
I've been messing with your cheese. Yes, I'm also a cheese connoisseur, and you're nearly there, but you're not quite there, I'm afraid, Bob. It isn't onion and sage. I'm really sorry to disappoint you. I think, you know what? I think your taste buds are just a little bit
What was that word?
a little bit out of place here. It is actually a cheese that is infused with shallots and Worcestershire sauce, because if you taste it now, you get that flavour of the shallots and the Worcestershire sauce straight away. So in fact, you know that I'm right, and it's B.
Now,
I still don't like it.
you know what? It's not a bad argument there, Gail, because we would be. It would almost be a crime for us not to insert some sort of Worcestershire in there somewhere.
Exactly.
It could explain the vegetarian thing as well.
Exactly. You got that tang as well. I've got that tang, Worcestershire sauce tang.
Excuse me.
Right now. Yeah.
Is the chairman biased?
Yeah.
No, it's all right. I'm just adding to the comments, and I can't be biased yet because I haven't heard all three.
It's so true. It's so obvious. It's got that Worcestershire sauce in it.
There is no point in making your mind up on anything. There's no point in making your mind up on anything until we've heard from Blind Dave. So, Dave, tell us the real answer, if you would, please.
Well, of course, the real answer is sitting here on this tape, and I'm going to press the third button, so I hope I get it right. Unequivocally, you've gone from one side of the triangle to the Bob.
Go on.
Well, you just said your cheese was buggered up. Is that a technical term used in the food industry?
It is very much when you're making cheese, yeah.
Oh, right. So when I do a cheese and onion sandwich in future, I should just say, put the bugger on the bread. This particular cheese reminds me of a song that I normally crucify on most karaoke nights. Smooth operator. It is a smooth and creamy, mature cheddar. Now, there's go
on.
Yeah, go on, carry on. I mean, that was just, brilliant.
Okay. It's obviously something to do with the farmyard, because my description is it's a smooth, creamy, mature cheddar with undertones of black truffles.
Right.
So it's obviously a very Herefordshire cheese, locally produced. I buggered that one up as well, didn't I, Bob?
Hey. I saw you spit your wine out there when Dave mentioned black truffle.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, well, Bob's moving on to wine number 4 before we've even announced it. So
it's the one. It's the business. It's the cheddar. It's the cheese. On my cracker, it's very nice. With the pork pie and the strawberries and the grapes and the speckled hen.
Truffle, whatever.
That's what it says here.
I know that's what it says. It's just quite funny because it's just no truffle whatsoever. No truffle
Yeah,
taste.
there's truffle in it.
You can taste truffle. Really?
Yeah.
I know you got to say it, but really.
No, it's true. I only believe what's written in front of me, you see.
Okay. All
And
right.
my taste buds don't lie.
Oh God.
There's no chocolate around it though.
No, not at all. I think we've lost. Oh, are we on our own? Oh dear, we've been left to our own devices.
Sorry, can I just possibly just try and I've chaired some debates in my time over lockdown, but not a truffle debate yet.
No.
It's a night of many firsts. So if you have answers, please send them to Neil Betteridge on the chat. Remember your team number and A for Bob, B for Gail, or C for Dave. We only have one wine left. One wine left to influence the scores tonight. So if you feel extremely confident, you will be glued to this one. So wine number 4 is where we are at right now. Wine number 4, you'll see here once more. There we go. So Pan, I mean, Bob started on this one about half an hour ago. Bob, you can give us a good.
I started it firstly because it's probably the best one of the evening. This.
Okay. Go on.
Savour it. Go on, just savour it a second. Go on. Join me, everybody, savouring this. It's a very nice wine. It's from Australia, and it's got all those sort of hints of spice, pepper, and all that sort of thing, which is typical of Australian wines. And it's come up from the cellar. It's a bit cool at first, and it's best warmed up. I have to be careful how I say this, actually. It's best warmed up by placing the bottle under the armpit of.
And better from Tipton.
I'm being very careful what I say here to bring it up to the sort of temperature where you can really enjoy it, and it brings out all the flavours. Steady, Gail, steady. But trust me, this is a wine from Australia. It's very obvious. It's very obvious. It's got a very good finish. Very, blackberry, sort of nice plummy nose to it, and a nice finish. Yes, I'm very convinced by that. Yes, excellent. Yes, carry on, please.
Yes, we will. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful moment. Gail, I'm guessing you disagree.
Yeah. I do. Well, actually, only a little bit. There are certain parts of Bob's description that I do agree with. I agree there's a little bit of spice in this red wine, but unfortunately, it's not from Australia. It's from Chile, as they produce the best red wines with spice, and it's got that bay leaf character as well. There are no blackberries in this wine either. It's all about cherries and plums. Okay, so unfortunately, Bob might be a little bit distracted with other thoughts going on about virgins and armpits. I don't know what he was talking about. That is complete and utter blah. It's all about chili red wine, cherries, plums, that little bit of spice, but with a bay leaf character.
Are you suggesting this is a Malbec?
I didn't say that
No,
because
you didn't.
I just said it's a Chilean red wine with those flavours. I don't want to put that in people's heads saying that it's a Malbec or something.
No, I don't think so. I think it's Australian.
Well,
that's
I'm just saying.
for you, Gail. They'll put words in your mouth. You've got to be careful.
Oh, totally.
Oh. Okay, well, let's go. Let's see what Blind Dave has, because I'm like more than anyone else intrigued as to what's on that tape. Dave?
Well, Robert, for the second year running, or is it the third, You have brought the wine and the conversation to the lowest of levels.
Oh, come on, no, please.
Are you having a laugh?
Are you suggesting that...
Allegedly, I would have. I can accept.
Dave, if we could keep it wine, wine.
Yeah. I'm coming to
wine.
it. I'm coming to it now. You have mentioned this ridiculous wine from Australia. Now, I too have a wine. This red wine. It's a well-balanced wine from Australia, this is.
Ah.
And we, to bring it up to room temperature, use the native kangaroo. We do it the civilized way and place it in the pouch. It's a well-balanced Australian wine with plenty of tannin. And with a lovely, lovely velvety texture to give this wine a wonderful, wonderful taste. It's plain, it's simple. Again, it comes in a bottle. It's red, and it's the right one. Just put C on your little sheet.
Dave, how long has it been matured in the pouch?
Well, it depends on how long it takes to catch the kangaroo.
Right.
Interesting
That is
thought,
the
though.
problem we have.
Okay.
The way around it is obviously to put it on the back of an emu.
I prefer the emu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kangaroos are so overused.
But they got
the
long
emu
legs.
is not used enough.
But
Dave, can I just ask you a technical question? Which part of Australia did this come from? Was it Southeast Australia? Was it Hunter Valley and that sort of thing?
No, it's Sydney.
From Sydney?
Yeah.
Sydney. From Sydney.
So Sydney, he came on a truck.
He came from Sydney.
Right. If in doubt, say Sydney. That's what I always say.
Sydney.
Sydney.
Oh, geez, Christ, it's from bloody Sydney. Jeez. Dave.
All you got to know is you take the top off the bottle and you drink it.
There you go. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for your description. Do you know what, Dave? We haven't actually commented at all on your background tonight. I didn't realise that, amongst other things you seem to have in here, there's like this big silver statue behind you of some sort of winged hero. I'm guessing that's something that's off the front of Bob's car.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, the Spirit of Ecstasy.
Yeah, so it's definitely off the front of Bob's car then.
The silver. No. Hey, Hursley, have you not seen the iconic thing in the frame? Can you not see it?
No, your glasses are in the way, mate.
I'll take them off. Can you see it?
Oh.
And the signature on that shirt, Hursley, it's not actually.
Is that a Newcastle shirt?
Newcastle.
Who's on a Newcastle shirt? Oh, careful! Hang on, we've entered into football territory. We're doing
Robert, I won't answer that question.
We're trying to stay cultured. Okay, so we have
mixed up with in the region, so you got no chance of seeing a classy shirt, have you?
Right, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard your final verdicts on the final wine. So if you could please send your final answer. So this is again with your team name and then A, B, or C. A for Bob's description, it was a long time ago, you might have forgotten about it. B was Gail, and then C was Dave. Pick your answer there, please. Send it to Neil Beckridge on the chat, just with your number. Don't need to worry about your name. We're going to give awards out for the names separately in just a bit. And that then completes the evening. But before we announce who has won this evening, we do, of course, have one more item to auction. So this is your chance to have your own framed bit of history. Because as you would have seen in the programme, this is a picture of Worcestershire County Cricket Club during the floods of 2000. So you've got a tiny bit of the building, the Graham Hick Pavilion, or wasn't quite named that then, but the Graham Hick Pavilion, and everything surrounded by the River Severn, which I know isn't a unique occurrence. We've seen it many times before, many times since. And to be fair, some may see this image as a bit of a sad sight. However, some clever so-and-so, probably somewhere in the ranks of Amros Promotions, managed to get that picture signed by Worcestershire County Cricket Club. So it actually is unique, because there is nowhere else that would happen. If your office was flooded and I came along and took a picture and asked you to sign it, you'd tell me where to go. So think of this as a very, very unique one-off piece. So we're going to start the bidding for the picture, as we did before with the Graham Hick, at a simple £100. Unmute yourself if you want to be part of this and take this picture home with you. And I'm going to say for the first time, if £100 interests you in our picture tonight, please now say the word bid. Just check everyone's unmuted. There we go, yeah. Of course, if you say anything, I may still come to you and attribute a bid to you. One more time, £100. If you haven't seen it in the programme yet, go and have a look. Bid, signed, frame picture. Oh, bid. There we go. Have you guys now changed your name to Brahms and Liszt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your real names?
Richard and Sandra Boot.
Thank you, Richard and Sandra. Right, well, you have £100 with you straight away. I'm going to judge on the silence we had before that this is a pretty safe bid, but I'll just check in case. Anybody for 110, say the word bid now.
You got that.
Please, please.
I like that because it stays with you, Richard. I like that. I'm not hearing any more bid. Oh, who just said bid then? Say it again.
Bid.
Ah, Peter. Hello, Peter. 110 for you, is it? Okay, so I'm going to put it up. 110 with you at the minute, Peter. 120 anywhere. Say bid now. Okay.
Bid.
Well, it's 110 with you at the minute, Peter.
That's
People are saying things, but they're not saying the word bid. So I'm going to, with you at the minute, Mr. Ellerman. 110 with you. I'm going to give it a little bit more. 120 for anyone. Say bid now.
Bid.
Jack. I love that, Jack. 120 with you right now. Okay. I'll say 130. Anybody else fancy it for 130? Say the word bid now. Oh, a bit of silence. Could be in for 120 quid here, Jack. One more time, anybody? 130, final time for the signed picture of Worcestershire County Cricket Club in the floods of 2000, signed by the team. It's ridiculously unique. 130, anybody? Say bid now. I heard the word bid. Say it again. Is that back to you, Richard and Sandra? I knew we'd come back round to you. I knew we would. Okay, Richard and Sandra, with you 130. I'm going to offer it out at 140. I don't really want it to go in, but I have to. 140 for anyone. Say bid now. Lovely. I think I'm done doing business here. It's 130 with Richard and Sandra. Thank you so much for your bid. Final chance. Say bid now. So, done. There we go. Richard and Sandra, 130 quid for you. Congratulations. Thank you very much. 130 quid for the wooden spoon as well. Really appreciate your biddings. Thank you so much, guys. I'll tell you what, Bob, whilst Neil's doing all the scores and stuff, Bob, what was your favourite of the cheeses or the wines tonight? I have to say whether you were
tonight.
What was your favourite?
My favourite one tonight. The first cheese and the fourth wine.
Okay, all right. Gail, what about you? Did you have any favourites tonight?
Well, I haven't actually opened the wine, so I have to admit that. But I loved the second cheese number 2, and I absolutely adored the tiny piece of pork pie that I had. So I was all about the food today, but I will make up for the wine and more pork pie tomorrow, I promise.
Yeah, can I just ask you, what are you in training for at the moment?
I'm in my 40s now. I used to do Olympics and everything like that. So I'm all about trying to be as fit as you can for your age. At the moment, I'm really interested in ketones, which is about your brain, and just firing that up, and that helps your body as well. And it's all about fat burning and ketosis and that kind of lifestyle. So not too much on the sugar and carbohydrates, but more about lots of organic products, lots of vegetables, and that protein. And if there is a little bit of fat in the diet, so cheese is actually a very good part of the keto diet. So that's why I just love training. I love being really fit and healthy. So yeah, that's what I do.
Ah, well, right. I don't think I can offer you any individual training, really.
Can you not? I'm quite surprised by that, Bob. Really? I mean, don't worry about it. I mean, maybe.
Well, I'll give it. I'll tell you what, Gail. I'll give it a go.
I was actually going to offer to be your PT, but maybe.
Do you want a bit of civility into the conversation?
Not really, no. Not really, no.
Tell us about your favourite wine or cheese tonight, please. Or even if it's just your favourite word.
The pork pie was nice.
Yeah.
I like cheese, full stop. And
Pork pie is excellent.
This thirsty ferret is all right.
But is that from Spain or California or?
No, it come from Sainsbury's this afternoon.
Lovely.
Delivered with my chicken eggs or my speckled hen. So it's a nice wine. It's a golden brown. It's sort of what was that big word he used?
Unequivocally.
It's unequivocally.
Like it.
It's it's cold, it's wet, it's got a froth, it's brown, it's in a point pot. It's all right.
It's all right. Good. No, that's good. That's all we wanted. Neil, I'm a bit worried because Bob's taking his dicky bow off now, and I don't know what's going to come next. So, do you have?
I'm just relaxing now.
Okay, good. That's all right. Good.
Hang on, Bob.
Neil, do you have some stats for us, Neil, and some?
What's he got around his neck?
Yes, I have. Jack, first of all, will you mute Blind Dave, please? Thank you. Right.
We only mentioned Dickie Bow. No,
Right, okay. I don't know how it went because, yes, scoring was difficult, but I think we've got there in the end. But first of all, may I say thank you very much to our celebrity panel. Gail, travelling all the way from Milton Keynes for us. Thank you very much indeed. Wonderful. You've supported us on quite a lot of things, and hopefully we can support you in the future on other things that you're going to do, which is fantastic. Thank you indeed. But I did think when we were putting this together, this event would suit you down to the ground, and I think it does, especially the wine elements and all the drinking.
I will
elements.
make up for it tomorrow, I promise, and I'll put lots of pictures of it about it tomorrow.
Yeah, just one little thing with Gail. She's on a quest at the moment to improve her golf, and she's doing quite a lot of Gail Goes Golfing, and basically what's happened in the past. I could say Gail's golf has been erratic.
Yeah.
Is that true? Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah, and she's been videoed at the halfway house with a bottle of beer in her hand, and it seems to improve the golf on the back nine. So I posted a comment that was, have a drink before you start, and then I think that will relax you even more. So yeah,
the only problem is some of my tea times are, you know, in the morning, Neil. So I don't know if I want to go there. If I start drinking beer, you know, when it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, you know, people start talking. You know, it's got a bit of a reputation. So yeah, maybe the
if you're from the Black Country, that isn't a problem. So no problem. But yeah, thank you very much indeed. We then go on to Mr. Blind Dave Healy, who is a Black Country fundraising legend. You know, I'm not going to bully him up too much, but I've ridden with him or part of the cycle challenges. But what we'll say, he's on a tandem and we don't let him drive because that could be a problem for him, eh, Dave? But he's a great guy, and he loves getting involved with these things, and he's actually sober a little bit tonight compared to the last time when we did it actually. Dave, thanks very much, mate. You're a star. Moving on to his worshipfulness, the Midlands TV legend, Mr. Bob Warman. The Dicky Bow did suit you, I must say that. And
Okay.
tomorrow night in the Swan, I think it'd be nice to see a reappearance of it. I don't think that will be the case, but Bob, again,
No, I will. I'll join you there. I'll join you there. Provided it's outside, we've all got to be COVID safe now, haven't we? You know.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see you bull up. Is that the right word? I've had so many things. Dave, he is the finest fundraiser we have here in the Midlands, or probably anywhere else. He's the most remarkable man. He really is. Go on,
Yeah.
give him a bit of background. Go on. This man who's run 5 marathons in 5 countries in 5 days. Unbelievable.
7, Bob.
Well,
7 days.
Oh, all right. 7 was it? Sorry, I underplayed him. 7 in 7 days, 7 continents, all that nonsense. And you know, across the Sahara Desert, all these things. I mean, he's the most amazing man you'll ever meet in your life. Puts us all to shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most certainly.
Thank you, Bob.
He is a complete legend, and we're trying to find out. I did ask you many years ago what your sporting preferences were in the pub, but I'm not going to say what they were, Bob. But man of my
Well, I'll tell you what they are. As a matter of fact, somewhere in my attic, I still have an old badminton racket, but it's one with a wooden shaft. it's one of those. It's a Slazenger. No, seriously, it's a Slazenger with a wooden shaft, and I'm up for a game anytime, Gail, if you want to, you know.
it's a date, Bob. We'll do it. We'll have a balanced competition, you and me. I just might need you to sign some insurance forms beforehand. That's all I'll say, because you.
Oh, you didn't have to say. You didn't have to say that, did you?
You're gonna hurt afterwards, Bob. I'm not nice on the badminton court, okay? I'm evil, all right? You know.
Oh, right. Ooh. Hey. Yeah. Hey, wow, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, Bob, thank you very much indeed. And they do have wheels on Zimmer frames if you take Gail on.
You cheeky bugger.
He's at it again.
So don't worry.
I meant that I was gonna hit you and hurt you, not like anything else.
Hang on, let's cut them. I will say, amongst us, we've got a gentleman called Mick Foley who does all the editing of these videos and whatever. Normally, as our lunches, he doesn't do an awful lot. He doesn't have a lot to do. I think on this one, he's got a lot of cutting before we can put it out. So, okay. Oh, what's Andrea doing? Right, dancing around. Anyway, moving on. Alistair, Sam, thank you very much indeed for Hayward Wright sponsoring us. I'm trying to look for you on the screen. I've lost you. Oh, anyway, you're there.
You want my glasses or what?
Yeah, I think I do need glasses, Dave. Thank you. But Hayward Wright support a lot of events that we do. again, thank you very much indeed for your support on sponsorship and this evening as well. Vince has had to go. He's just become a grandfather from Wooden Spoon. But listen, locally, Wooden Spoon is a fantastic local charity. Does great work for. Oh, excuse me. Do excuse my dog. My 2 Labrador dogs have been into the vets today. They're 1 year old. And they've just lost their manhoods today, so they're quite sore. So,
disgraceful.
One's asleep on the settee, the other one's crying a little bit. But so I do apologise for that.
Neil, you need to take Bob in.
As you would. As you would.
Do. Yes.
Dear.
Oh yeah. That's all the thanks there. We're now coming on to the scores. Will we do? If I've missed you, thank you very much, Steve. Yes, I'm going to give the answers out. Wine number 1 was A. I'm not going to go through the full detail. Cheese number 1 was C.
Thank you.
Wine number 2 was C.
Thank you.
Wine number 3 was B.
Woo!
Cheese number 2 was B.
Oh, yes.
And wine number 4 was A. Right. Now, whether I've got these scores wrong or written them down wrong from this chat box, and there's loads of other chats coming through, if that scores, it's too late. Mr. Boots wants to go and watch the news. Yeah, thank you very much indeed.
Why?
I thought Neil talked. Yes, I can't repeat that.
That's obviously from Marley.
No, I meant news at 10, not news at 9.
Yes. Well, we've actually got 5 teams with the same score. But first of all, I point out that we've actually got 1 team who posted 5 results, but missed 1 out. It is our person who's in control of all this evening, Mr. Jack McCauley. You've actually got nothing right at all. So we're not going to have any of yours. So anyway, the teams that have got 5 points, scored 5, is team number 5, which is Mr. Robert Capper, Teresa's Tasters. Team number 8, the Wonky Donkey, Mr. Carl Edgill. Pete, I missed what your team number 9 is. Pete Ellerman. I forgot what your team name was. Team number 12, Guy. I haven't got your team down. And
Furlong 4.
Yeah. Oh right. Okay. Team number 29 is my son Ross Bettridge. So seems it's a case of wine. Then my son's won. But 5 of you be on ready for the chat button. There is a tie-break question, and it's the first one to get it's a price of an item, and it's the first one to give me the correct price that I got out of the 5 of you on the chat box. So if 2 of you got the same one, it's the first one I've received. One at a time. Robert Capper, would you mind unmuting yourself and telling me how much you bid, please? Robert?
£3.50.
£3.50. Thanks, Robert. Carl Edgill.
Don't go into that. Don't go into that.
Carl?
Might collapse on you.
£2.79.
£2.79. Pete Ellerman, please.
£3.65.
No, that is.
£3.65. You've never bought a pint in the Swan, Pete.
Neil. Hi. Hi, Neil from the Baggies.
Guy, how much have you bidding?
Boring that here.
No.
Much more fun in there.
Ross Bettridge, how much?
£3.69.
£3.69.
Yeah, that's somebody from London.
Yeah, exactly. Guy, are you around? Guy, are you going to give me an amount, please?
270.
No.
Yes, Neil. I just phoned him. It's £3.20.
£3.20. Okay, Guy. Well, actually, the winner is Mr. Guy Marston with the last one. I've got down £3.40 because I can't remember the last time I bought a single point. But Guy has won from that. And the winning team name goes to Mr. Ian Stringer. Ian, yeah, you have won there on Zoom Street, and actually it's ended up that way, hasn't it? Thank you to everybody. I don't think there's any more to be said. Hey, Hursty, are we going to cut now? But besides the celebrities, Hursty, Jack, and Amika does our editing. Thank you all very much for being here this evening. Our very last Zoom event. What a way to go out. October 1, we'll start doing actual events. All good night. Have a bit more drinking. Finish the pork pie off and have a great night. Thank you very much.
Well done, Neil. Well done.
Have a good night. Cheers, guys and girls. Cheers, everyone.
Well done, Neil.